Hey YouTube, it's the Morning Brew. Happy Thursday, happy Throwback Thursday. And it's not so much of a morning brew today as more of a afternoon brew. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Which also means it's a hotter day. And I'm drinking soda out of this. And I've had the worst throat issue today, so it's going to be a fun one. First and foremost, congratulations to my little girl Caitlin. She graduated the 8th grade today. Yeah, if you're not familiar, here in the States we graduate every few years. Kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, 6th grade, 8th grade, and then high school. Which is funny because I remember graduating kindergarten. I remember graduating 6th grade. I remember graduating 9th grade, which I didn't attend. And my high school graduation. I can honestly say, with the exception of high school, none of them really meant anything to me, personally. Because I still had 4 more years or 6 more years or whatever to go. But high school to me was a big one because it meant I can now choose to go or not to go to school. But anyways, my daughter's graduated. I'm happy for her. It makes me feel old as dirt because she's only 4 years away from graduating high school. Old man. In other personal matters of the show, yesterday after the show, I went to pick up my son from his crib and somehow tweaked my neck. Actually, my back. My sciatic nerve got pinched, and I ended up laying in bed with my son strapped to my chest and trying to figure out how the heck am I going to get up because I did not intend to lay down. It just happened. So I've still been in pain since yesterday. Would have recorded this in the normal 6 a.m. time slot, and I usually do, but I was so hopped up on goofballs, as I like to call it, that I didn't wake up to the alarm. I just automatically turned it off and went back to sleep for 2 more hours. So by then it's too late because I gotta get ready for graduation and stuff. So it's been an interesting day trying to go about my regular schedule, my regular stuff, with a tweaked back. Feels better, but Jesus, was it painful. Anyways, so Throwback Thursday should stand for throwing out my back Thursday. Even though it happened on a Wednesday. Who cares? On to the news. Let's start off with the fact that Mario Kart 8, beloved game that's coming out tomorrow, already has DLC announced in Japan. But it's not what you think. If you're watching the video, which should be playing now, it's actually a Mercedes-Benz GLA. The commercial, of course, showcases the old school 8-bit Mario jumping into the car and going through the first level. And at the end of the commercial, we see a gorgeous rendition of the castle, by the way, with Mario actually stepping out of the car and looking viciously mean for some reason. Nothing like the lovable, psychotic plumber we all know and love. And if you're wondering when I say psychotic plumber, you should check out Game Theory's theory about what's wrong with Mario. Very interesting. If I remember to, I'll put it in the comment section. Or link the video. The funny thing is that, of course, we had Goomba for the first time, which also looked great. But what's funny is, the game itself, as you can see in images here, is actually getting the car in-game. Now, no word if anybody outside of Japan will be getting this, but knowing Nintendo, it probably will, because now we're aware of it. Can't hide those things anymore. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it's DLC, granted. We've had free DLC for Sonic, whatever the heck the last game was called, that had Yoshi's Story levels and Legend of Zelda levels, and everybody liked them. They were free. At least I think the Zelda, I know for sure the Zelda one was free. So it means that Mario Kart 8 should have some DLC in the upcoming months or maybe in a year or so. Do we want more commercial stuff like this, or we would like more characters? Maybe some new characters would be nice. Although considering the roster is already pretty hefty, carts wouldn't be bad. Tracks would be amazing. I don't think anybody would be against buying whole new tracks if you make it a big hefty load of stuff along with the actual DLC. But my feeling on it is kind of interesting how DLC's already... Nintendo, who's for so long was anti-DLC and anti-internet and anti-blah blah blah, all of a sudden embraces online play and now embraces commercialized sponsored DLC. Way to go, Nintendo. You're doing it right. But to follow and continue with Nintendo, they're doing it wrong as well. This is the following story because Nintendo apparently, if you hadn't heard the recent last year, Nintendo tried to basically shut down anybody doing Nintendo themed footage on YouTube, aka Let's Plays, news, reviews, and including channels like the JUits and Game Theory. Now, what's interesting about this is that they failed. Basically, you know, they were doing it for entertainment purposes. They're not trying to sell Nintendo products. Now, here's the kicker. The rest of the industry, as in the gaming industry, has embraced YouTube. They've allowed you to have uploading capabilities straight from the systems and games to share your footage. What's excuse me. What's interesting to me is that now Nintendo is saying that they're demanding from Google, aka YouTube, that they get part of the revenue that the creators and they collect. Meaning, someone like me does a Let's Play on Super Mario World, which I've actually been considering. And you guys like it, you follow it, you just want to see me play it. Or you want to hear the commentary. Whatever. Well, Nintendo says that they should be allowed to get a taste of the money that I make, if any, off of the advertising. What's interesting is that this is pretty discouraging, considering that Nintendo should want people to advertise how to play a game or how to enjoy it. Because I've actually bought a few games in the past, thanks to the Let's Play being so entertaining, not just by the unscripted conversation, but just the game itself. One of them being Dead Rising. Or Dead Rising 2, actually. I wasn't going to buy the game. But after seeing how fun it was on YouTube, I jumped on the bandwagon. So, the other interesting part of this is, and why it's connected to Mario Kart 8, not just because of Nintendo, by the way, it's because Mario Kart 8 recently announced that they will also allow YouTube upload capability. So, it makes me wonder, are they trying to trap you into uploading videos of Mario Kart 8 so people can see your races and record breaking and all the fun you're having, so that in a couple of months they can go, you've made a whole $25 off of our game, we want half of that. Who knows? I'm not sure how it's going to work out for them. It's not a good thing to do, Nintendo. It would be wise to lay off the YouTubers. We do make things happen. Okay, the other YouTubers make things happen. I make things in a cup and drink them. Mangria. Not mangria, mangria. So laying off the video game news, moving on to entertainment news. Hulu has decided that Community should not just lay down and die. They are currently in talks with Sony Studios about bringing the show back for a 6th season, which would put it into syndication. Which ironically it already kind of is, because it plays back on Comedy Central. Now, if you're a fan of the show, this is great news. It means that the possibility of the cast coming back for another season and basically putting on that last little layer you may want on top of everything. If you're not a fan, or if you're like me where you enjoyed the episodes you've seen, but you're not a big hardcore fan like other people are, and you're more of a fan of Parks and Rec, this doesn't really mean much. I don't watch Hulu because I hate their interface. Their horrible, horrible interface on every platform I've ever tried them in. And the $8 a month, they don't hurt, but it's still, got Netflix. But they're talking about bringing it back. We'll see what happens. NBC already said that they're not changing their mind. They don't want the show back. Sony, on the other hand, hears ka-ching and ka-ching-ching. And of course, Hulu hears viewership. Competition against Netflix and now Amazon. Like I said, not a huge fan of Community. Huge fan of Joel McHale. Not a big fan of Chevy Chase. I met him once. He wasn't very pleasant. And of course, like I said, I'm going to catch up with the show eventually, but I don't know if a 6th season is merited. Okay, but last, and not certainly far from the least, LeVar Burton announced yesterday that he was going to have a campaign to bring back Reading Rainbow. All its videos and books, not to television, but to all schools and all children across the country to encourage reading. He did a Kickstarter campaign, which his goal was $1 million. 35 days set for the marker, and in less than 24 hours, the Kickstarter campaign has raised $1.7 million. Last time I checked, it's been about 24 hours. It's been a little bit over 24 hours. As I checked this morning, it was actually closer to $1.8 million. Now, I have no idea what the rewards are, but it's got a couple of thousand, 35,000 supporters or something like that, donating left and right. I think this is an amazing thing. I mean, the show started off in 1983, went all the way to 2006, and then PBS let it go. Last year, PBS brought in, earlier this year, PBS brought in an app, a Reading Rainbow app, and it was a huge hit. So LeVar figured that why not try and bring it into schools. So raising the $1 million mark within less than 24 hours and almost doubling it already with only 2 days. I'm speechless in the sense of that this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. You know, when people went gaga over freaking Veronica Mars movie getting the support it needed immediately within a few days, I was kind of like, really? Okay. I guess you all like Veronica Mars that much. But then seeing something that's worth supporting, that is literally one of those, it's a worthy cause to support. And seeing it get more support that they even imagined they would get. I'm sure when you set $1 million mark, you're setting here's what Kickstarter is going to chew off of our campaign, and this is how much we actually need. So to get way more, double, and still with 33 days to go, I salute you, Internet. I salute anybody who has supported this campaign, and I wish, honestly, I had the money to support it myself. Unfortunately, I don't. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it's something that needed to happen a long time ago. Pushing reading on children is not a bad thing. It's when special interest groups want to discourage children from reading because the book does not fall under our categories of entertainment. F you. When Harry Potter came out, I remember reading about Christian rights groups claiming that it promoted Satanism and all this crazy crap, and parents should completely discourage their kids from reading. Fortunately, some parents who don't think for themselves followed along. Great job. They followed along and went with it, and some children were just not allowed to read Harry Potter. But they didn't come close to winning the battle, because Harry Potter still encouraged thousands more to continue reading. The fan base is humongous. So when something like Reading Rainbow can show that it has the backing to come back like this, with so much support. It's encouraging. It's wonderful. It's great stuff. So, if you get a chance, go check out the Kickstarter campaign for Reading Rainbow. Thank you so much, everybody supported it, and honestly, it's a great time. With that, it's the end of the show, the end of the news, and my day's only beginning. If you can hear a baby crying in the background, that's mine. So do yourself a favor. I'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you whenever the next video is. But till then, always remember this. Enjoy your brew. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the the follows and the likes and all that stuff. I want your thoughts. What do you think of Nintendo's marketing campaign with Mercedes? Do you think it's kind of cool? Do you think it's kind of bad? Do we want more realistic cars? I mean, this is supposed to be a fantasy racer with unrealistic physics and graphics and weapons and all that stuff. Do you want realism in it from now on? Let me know what you think in the comments. Then, also let me know what you think. Is Nintendo right or wrong in their approach to YouTube? Other companies have embraced YouTube and have actually talked about how they see bigger sales for certain games that have been talked about in Let's Play videos. Like for PewDiePie, he does it. And he has a lot of followership. I mean, he has the largest by far. So let me know what you think. Nintendo right or wrong? Of course, Hulu bringing the possibility of bringing Community back. Do you care? Do you love it? Did you even watch it? Are you as big a fan of Joe McHale as I am? He was the banker in Spider-Man 2. And last but not least, the Reading Rainbow Kickstarter. How happy are you about that? I love LeVar Burton. I think he's an amazing actor, and he's done great work for children, and I think Reading Rainbow is something that should have never gone away in the first place. I'm glad to see it back. I'm glad that my son will get to experience it in school, and I've already got collections of books that he will be encouraged to read as he gets older. But this is just a wonderful thing. So let me know what you think in the comments. And as per usual, do the subscribe thing, do the share thing, do it all. Till next time.